Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan, and with me today we have a bunch of special guests. We have Robbie, Tyler, and Kelsey. How are you all doing today?
Hello. Doing well, doing well.
Great.
Thumbs up from Kelsey for all the people in podcast land, since it's a podcast. But yeah, so how's it going? We're good. Everyone's good. We're good. So you guys are Gossamer Coast. So who let's go left to right. We got Robbie, Tyler, and then Kelsey. What is Gossamer Coast? What is your guys each? What do you do with it, and what might people know some of your stuff for here in the ttrpg space?
So Gossamer Coast started out as Glass Cutter, and that was like 10 years ago or so. Me and Tyler used to make a lot of comics together, and I would do the drawings and he would do the writings. And then like 4 years ago or something like that, five years ago, we started doing more TTRPG stuff. And only a few years ago, we switched to Gossamer Coast. But our first project that we did was Glimmer's Rim. But copy of it. Oh, this is like a home print copy, but that's what that looks like. But we did it for which Scene Quest was it?
I don't know which one.
What is
The one
Quest?
is like 2021.
Yeah.
And the good one. The peak one. Yeah.
Seth?
It was great. And we were a lot more successful with that than we had ever been making comics. And it's like, oh, people we can make tools for people to use instead of like a thing that is trying to entertain them. And that it just seemed a lot more fruitful. And we've been doing TTRPG stuff since then, as Gossamer Coast. But you kind of was where the name came from, though.
Yeah, Gossamer.
Yeah, Gossamer Coast.
Yeah, that's just the name of the homebrew world that we play in. But yeah, Robbie kind of hit all the notes on Gossamer Coast stuff. Glimmer's Rim. If anyone knows me from anything, it's Glimmer's Rim probably. We have some other short adventures.
I have a stack of all the stuff that I got from Gen Con from you guys. It literally just in the other room. But I've run back and forth so many times. I'm gonna maybe on a break. So that's Gossamer Coast and stuff. But where Kelsey, where do you fit into all of this?
So I met Robbie and Tyler fall of 2019, and then started dating Robbie a few months after that. It was actually our 1 year anniversary, where I remember we took a little weekend trip, and Tyler called Robbie partway through to be like, yeah, our project got funded, and that was very special. We were also snowed into a hotel, and it was a very poorly planned trip. But anyway, so I wasn't really all that involved until after they had finished making Glimmer's Rim, and we're doing the fulfillment stuff. I was just like, it's a lot of envelopes to stuff. I think that y'all need some help. And so I just kind of started doing odds and ends kind of stuff. I love tabling. I was a Girl Scout. I sold cookies, and I don't get to do that anymore because now I'm an adult. So I started tabling with Robbie more and selling art in our books, and then just over time it became more. It was I'll just join for real, and it'll make some things easier.
When Kelsey started tabling, our sales went up 800%.
Yeah.
It was we would do farmers markets and stuff, and she'd be calling fools from the other side of the sidewalk that were just looking at a tree or whatever, and she'd be like, hey, we got D&D related stuff, because no one knows what TTRPGs are. And people would just come over and then buy a lot of stuff. And it was very, very magical to have Kelsey on board with that.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that's always good to have. If you have artist, you have writer, and then you have basically the John Bonham of everything else. That's a great person to have on the team. You already held up Glimmer's Run. You have a lot of stuff you've already done as a group. most of it is system agnostic adventures. What was the kind of impetus to I guess start with or do mostly that kind of stuff?
It was so it just started with Glimmer's Rim, and it was the idea that came to me at the time was just to do a system agnostic adventure. That was the thing I was interested in pursuing. I wanted to make a hex crawl that had smaller hexes and was more focused, so that it was you were always maximizing the amount of content you had available to pull on wherever you were. And once we made one, it was just kind of easy to make a few more. But I love general game design stuff, and I am very excited that we are starting to do stuff that is not just system agnostic adventure things, more systems, more small weird games.
The original pitch for Glimmer's Rim was as like a kind of a stopgap thing, but it kind of ballooned out. It can absolutely like be its own little mini almost campaign setting to a degree. But the idea is like you're running a game and then like some folks find a ship and I think this literally happened to Tyler one D&D thing. They're like, yeah, we just want to like hide on that ship and see where that goes. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess fuck my whole world then. So the idea is like you can pull this off the shelf and then you have something that can be as long as short or short as you want.
Yeah.
And Kelsey was the project lead on Candleberry, which was the next thing that came out. And she wrote that. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, Kels.
Sure. Yeah, that one we had talked to someone at PAX and they were like, yeah, we got this like small convention coming up called Game Face, gonna be in Baltimore, like y'all should come table. And we were looking at the stuff we normally table with, and we were like, we want some new things. We have 2 months. It's probably enough time. And we learned that we don't do stuff quickly. But around the same time, it for better or for worse, I got COVID. And so I was like quarantining in my room and I was real bored. And at the time, I was working on this campaign for saving Philadelphia's Chinatown. There was this whole like predatory development situation happening, and there was a big coalition that I got to work and be a part of to oppose it. And so, like, while I was stuck in my room with COVID, I was just like reflecting on the feelings I had about that campaign and like the things I want people to like know and feel about like predatory development. And then I kind of like spun that into some like Jewish folklore, and yeah, that was Candleberry Jam.
That's awesome. Do you now? I mean, I guess less Kelsey, but do you guys think that your comic background moving over into ttrpgs, what kind of things do you pull from that into that? Because to me, I think it seems like a relatively to me it made sense that you started with adventures because you were kind of writing like worlds and everything before. Did that make it an easy transition, or what kind of stuff did you pull from that into games?
On the writing side of things, I mean, it is fairly different because you're having to focus on not building like a. With comics, it's all about like cut every inch of fat and make the plot only the plot that matters is happening or whatever, and that's like the kind of the opposite of what you want going on in an adventure. But I do think that our comic background makes it really easy to like have conversations about illustrations because art needs a reason to be there and a thing behind us and a moment to it, and we had a lot of practice making sure like every panel was like telling the thing that needed to be told, and that's a pretty good translation over like spot illustrations and even like like spread illustrations.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely like uh page design and like how how a section of a page like relates to itself, and then how that section relates to the page, and then how that page relates to the spread. Like all that stuff is very much like hard baked into my brain. So like thinking about like composition and path of the eye, and you know, really the biggest, like if there's one kind of central concept aesthetically is they're both all about like controlling and managing someone's focus. Um, that's probably the big one, aesthetically at least.
Gotcha. And you guys talked about tabling, obviously. So you're an incredible artist, Robbie. It's if anyone that has not seen Robbie's stuff, I'll make sure the links are down below. But that's the first thing that caught my eye, was your art. It's crazy. And what's funny is when we were talking at Gen Con, and we'll talk about Gen Con in a second, you said that you're mostly like black and white, but the color that you put in things like Canterbury Jam or even like Hinterlight, we'll bring that cover up in a second. It's crazy. It is so vibrant and like color soaked. It's kind of shocking that you say you mostly do black and white. But so you guys table a lot, and I know I met you guys first at PAX. Don't know if you remember that, but then we met again at Gen Con. And what I guess about tabling was obviously PAX. U is in Philadelphia. You guys are big Philadelphia people. Go Philly. But how long have you guys been doing like conventions versus like, I know you said you were doing like tabling at farmers markets and things like that?
So me and Robbie have been tabling since we were in like college for me, maybe high school for you. No,
I wasn't
college for you. So yeah. But for comic stuff, in like small like tri-state regional conventions in like the Memphis, Tennessee area. But yeah, it was not until we started doing ttrpg conventions that we really started selling anything to any real degree. And I don't know, y'all have been doing farmers markets for what?
We did it a lot. We did it farmers markets a lot, like 1 year and then a little bit the next year, and then we haven't done like any this year. But that's been pretty cool. Other than farmers market stuff, we did like a Ren Fair, and then we did Game Face in Baltimore twice.
Convention.
And then
we also did that very odd pancake event.
Sure.
The
art show.
Yeah, that was like that was an art show where you could sell like prints and stuff like that. But we had our TTRPGs. So we've, as far as like actual gaming conventions,
we try a lot of stuff out. But
you only need one hand to count the amount of actual gaming conventions that we've done. But other kinds of conventions, a smattering, and they're always kind of oddball to a degree.
Something that has been kind of fun for me because I love tabling is we've started to get to lend a hand to +1 EXP when they need like extra people to table. And so I got to join their booth for PAX Unplugged last year. We helped out a bit with Too Many Games out in like Oaks. And then this coming January, we're actually going to have our own table at Page, the Philly Area Gaming Expo.
That's cool. And you guys obviously were at Gen Con. That's when we kind of chatted a lot. Was that your first Gen Con for all of you guys?
That was our first Gen Con, yes.
What were your thoughts on Gen Con?
It was quite overwhelming, and everyone we spoke to said, yeah, it's less overwhelming than most years. So I really don't know what to say about that, but it was pretty intense.
I tell you what, though, going into it, we thought it was going to be like a literal nightmare.
I thought it was going to have like a panic attack from the way they described the crowds, but just the scope of it was in a different way, kind of like intense.
We talked a bit about we talked to Charlie Frick Avery for a bit about it, and he was just like, yeah, it is it is an absolute nightmare. And he really hyped it up. We really hyped it up to be extremely bad. But yeah, so after going, we were like, huh, yeah, no, this is a lot, but it's like not crazy.
I will
Uh,
also say I don't think we saw the whole thing
We
because we
didn't.
spent a lot of time in like the main room, and then halfway through, I was trying to find something, and I was asking one of the like people who worked there, where would I go for this thing? And they were like, yeah, that's a whole nother building, and that blew my mind. And then we looked at the map, and there was a whole lot of buildings that we just did not step foot
Yeah,
into.
there's like
So maybe it was like less overwhelming to us because we like narrowed down what we were like willing to entertain, but like I don't know.
we were also there a very short amount of time too.
yeah,
Only like
day and a
a
half,
couple days.
2 days. Yeah,
Yeah. Generally, I liked it
that
though.
was fun. That was dope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. Anyone that listens to the podcast regularly, this will be like the 4th time you're going to hear about Gen Con, but you're welcome. Indianapolis is very clean. But I heard the same thing, that like that it was going to be so bad, so packed, so like everything. And I literally did nothing except for the exhibition hall. And PAX was my first con. This was my second con. And for those that don't know, the exhibition hall, just that alone at Gen Con, is as big as all of PAX.
Yes.
And then there's the entire rest of the convention center and the football stadium next to it that is very full, which I didn't realize it was that big. It's like 80,000 people a day. So I very much found the door that was the closest to the exhibition hall and just went in and out that every day and did nothing else. But it wasn't, I thought like walking around PAX was a lot worse. Like there were times where I was literally crushed at PAX, and Gen Con, I was like, the very wide hallways.
The size of the hallways is nice at Gen Con. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, and I don't know if I'll ever do it again because I feel like maybe it would have been worse if I had tried to go to like the football stadium or like the LARP stuff in the basement or any of that. But it was cool. It was fun. Got to see and meet a lot of people, which was really nice. Got to go out and about in Indianapolis, which was really cool. Talked to you three a lot. I probably talked to you guys more than just about anybody except for the booth that I was actually working at. So that was fun. And then I harangued you into eventually coming onto the show, and that's how we got to where we are now.
Beautiful.
So what you have coming up though is Hinterlight, which is your next project, and I think I could be wrong. Is this the first project you guys are doing that isn't an adventure? This is actually a system that you guys are making and doing more, right?
We have, I have exactly one tiny game system that I made before this. It is just like a little bitty spooky Halloween ritual I made.
Yeah,
Cyclist Holiday.
It's a trifold.
There we go.
But yeah, this is the first real kind of get a big boy thing that we've tried to do.
This is like a silly. I said silly.
Silly.
It's fun. It's like a little lyric game.
It's like a 5-minute little game.
It's like kind of a little challenge that you do that involves a live flame. That is yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah, but yeah, Hinterlight is something that also started life as a trifold. What 2-3 years ago now, I had an idea to like have like a little thing where a GM could like throw together kind of a ridiculously complicated like fairy court hierarchy thing. And I was like, that would be a fun little thing to do for the same game face that Kelsey was making Candleberry for. I was trying to do that. It's quickly ballooned into a larger thing, and then as once game face was over and we wanted to try to make it a real book, we were just fiddling with the space, and the more we talked and the more we tried stuff, the more it felt like something that was much more enjoyable as a way for a whole group of people to be collaborative and make a world together than it is for like one person to try and like prepare a game. And that that is the road that we've been on for I guess like a year now since that point of just like trying to make this sort of collaborative ritual world building thing as good as it can be.
Yeah, I spent we've been working on it over a year. but this is what it used to be. It was called Cryptarchy. We sold it at Game Face. Tyler did it all himself. I just did like the cover, and yeah, it was cool. And then we all got our fingies up in it, and that's been the last year. And although we like kind of delineated a lot of like rules earlier in what we do for Gossamer Coast, there are a lot of days where it is just us kind of writers' room brainstorming, throwing stuff around, filling out tables together. I sometimes like to call this tables the game because it is a lot of tables. That's the whole gist is about like interpreting tables, or at least for the first part of it, the ritual part. And so yeah, it is just a blast, like hanging out on the couch, trying to come up with the weirdest shit we can to put on these tables. But yeah, it's been kind of the journey of Hinterlight so far.
Yeah. It must be nice to have 3 people kind of work on a project too, because at any point anyone can jump in and you have at least one person to bounce stuff off and one person to test with. So like I can imagine there's like a rotation of that between you 3.
We definitely do a lot of bouncing around and talking to each other, being each other's springboards for sure. Yeah.
We did a lot. We've play tested this a lot of times in a row, a lot of iterations of it. This is maybe like the 8th iteration of the game, honestly. And it does say something that every time I start playtesting, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be like a couple of hours, and it's gonna, I guess let's just like get this over with. And then after 10 minutes, I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like so invested and like into it, and I'm like, oh, I did forget. This is like fun. So that's a good sign.
I mean, yeah, most games should be fun in some way, shape, or form, even if not being fun is the fun part. But so I have it. I have the quick start up here, and there's links to that will be where links are on the internet and
Nice.
available. But so what's the pitch? What is Hinterlight?
The the elevator pitch is that Hinterlight is a collaborative world building game where you and your friends come together. You uh, build a band of ludicrously gloomy gothic Victorian jerks, and you tell the story of how you died in this fairy forest and then cast the ritual of your resurrection and bond into the service of the noble fae who rule over that forest. And then that is a thing that can be taken forward into like more standard ttrpg roleplay, and one of you can become a guide and sort of build a campaign that is uh, following your adventures in service to these noble faerie.
It's really neat. I like the world building to start a game kind of thing, like different, but in the same kind of vein as like Microscope and things like that, where you can collaborate to do a thing. Making like dying and then basically working for like Noble Fae is a pretty cool way to go. Love a game where you start by dying. So mechanically, how to we've heard lots of tables apparently. How does the game work?
Absolutely. So the world building game, all of the tables are purely there to make every version of the dwell, which is the name of the forest that the fairy live in, unique to the table. And the whole idea is that you are using cards to build this pattern on the table, and you're going to be revealing them and playing cards on top of cards that get these prompts that are hopefully very evocative and vague enough that you can instill some of your own thoughts into them and that they can spark ideas. And the table as a whole brainstorms within this sort of bounded experience that we have set up to allow the thing that you get at the end to be a useful, workable, like adventure space. So the book is basically just there to make sure that you goofing off and talking with your friends about a spooky, kind of silly Fey world makes sense once you get to the end of it.
Gotcha. And the book is broken up into, I believe it's 4 different psalms. How do the psalms kind of work with the game? It seems it's like it is the game. So how does that kind of tie in?
Yeah, the metaphor there is that the spell of your resurrection is a song that these faerie are singing and having you sort of sing with them. And the first psalm is all about you and you sort of getting sort of the information you could get from like looking at a dead body lying at a faerie's table and sort of figuring out who you were before you came to the fairylands, this other world. And then the second psalm is all about building this forest where you died. And then the third part is building the manor, the estate where you were resurrected by the noble fae. And the little coda in fourth section is about the absent crown from whose power you've been resurrected, but they're like the ruler of these faerie that has been gone, and it's a big mystery that you can sort of have as the central core thing to your campaign if you'd like it to be. And then what you don't have in the quick starts would then be a further section where one of the players for the ritual, their character is sacrificed to the spell, and they become the guide. And there's tools that let them use what you've made in the game and expand it into adventurable content with things that the other players at the table did not know at the time. But it makes it as easy as you can make it to prep 2 or 3 adventure locations before a first campaign and have like a little mystery for them to figure out in the court of the faerie. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds awesome. Again, I'm an edgelord piece of shit. So any game, like I said, where you start by dying, and then you have a whole section on like just figuring out what your body is. I mean, you got me already. You sent me, Robbie. You sent me a spread before we started the stream. So talk to me about this incredible page. Again, what I was saying before with like your color and everything. This is incredible. So what is this spread?
Thank you. So this is supposed to be a mock-up of what in the quick start is timber. There's going to be some adjustments for the final version, but in this version it's called firth instead of timber, which is like an old school word.
Yeah, it's like an archaic word for like a woodland.
Yeah. And so what we really wanted to do was have this vibe of like the first way we thought about it is it'd be cool to do like a big illustrative manuscript and make it like very diegetic, so it looks like you're looking through like an old tome. But then more recently we were like, fuck that. What if we just did like just a top down like table of like what the faerie, like the whole setting for the game is kind of like Dead Adventures, just face down, like all corpsed out and dead, sprawling on this table, where there's this freaky evil faerie dude, freaky whatever, that is like doing this spell. So we were like, yeah, what if the whole thing is just we're trying to see what that table looks like, and so we can have like the pattern for the playing cards that you play on like carved into the table. And then like let's get some like scrying stuff. So I try to do like a mirror type of thing, where the first thing is like the game is played, or at least in the beginning, the rituals, it's very much like you flip over and interpret this playing card. That is the initial thing that the game like gives you, and you're like, oh, okay, what does that look like? And then players play on that card. And so the first one would be like that reveal with that's like on the mirror, because you're like flipping over the card that's on the pattern. And then the second card is claim. So that's whenever a player plays on that. And so for that, I try to go for like kind of a messed up like field notebook looking thing, because it's kind of like what the player is adding to the spell. And then we have this little doll for Mark your effigy, and that is like you talk about being an edgelord piece of shit. This is a great opportunity for that, where at like after every round, you just really just talk about how your guy got fucked up, like in psychologically, metaphysically, physically, could be very literal. And so the game is just like it's like how cool can you make your death kind of, or how like weird or crazy can you do it? And so we thought it'd be fun to like have these assets that we can play with throughout the game, where like we can have this little effigy doll that's like slowly it's like coming apart over each spread, or we can see like the hand that says discuss up there. Like those are kind of like helpful prompts if you're kind of like want something to kind of like get the juices going. Everywhere that says discuss is that's kind of what that's for. And that's supposed to be like the hand of one of the dead guys laying on the table. So it's like maybe that gets more messed up. Maybe the field notebook gets bloodier or whatever. And then we have this kind of UI thing at the bottom that is like on the bottom left is like this pick list kind of thing. That's like, yeah, here's just like an example of us basically doing this. And then on the right, it's like this is supposed to tell you what section of the book that you're in. So the first little symbol there is character creation. It's your effigy. The second one is like the psalm, the first psalm. That's the little ritual with chanting and what have you that like begins the thing. And then the third one is the one that this is depicting, where it's like you choose either what in the quick start, what basically is most of the quick start, which is like denizens, terrain, and timber. And in this one, we let folks like choose what they want to do between the three. And then as the book progresses, the tapestry will continue to like weave together, and then we'll see more like symbols that kind of notate where we are in the book. Which all that was Tyler's idea, the little tapestry thing. I'm like, it's a dope idea. Let's do it. Let's see what we can do. So yeah, that's basically. Oh yeah, and then for the first, I tried to have like wood coming up, splintering through the table to look like, that's where we're at. Maybe for terrain, it might be like little like tombstones or whatever. And then for the denizens, or I guess it's going to be called fear in the book. It could be like little spiders coming out from the pattern. And so like it was like a lot of work to do this, but also like I'm excited to be able to reuse and very slightly modify these assets and only draw like a few like very few new things per spread. So hopefully we'll be able to like get a lot of mileage out of like these assets that have been created, so it will look like way more work than it actually will be. That's the goal. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, this spread is crazy. How much of the book is like this done?
You're looking at it, but
yeah, it's
all right.
Rendered to this degree as this spread is the sort of the proof of concept spread that we put together.
For fans of in-game fiction or whatever, probably the biggest actual like new illustration part that'll be like straight illustration. We're gonna open it up with like a little comic where we have like, well, we have it like kind of thumbnailed here to a degree. But it's just like maybe like a little 6-page, 8-page oh, this is the welcome honored guest thumbnail page.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be the most illustration heavy thing. But sorry, yeah, to answer your question, that level of done, yeah.
Is what you sent me at like 8 o'clock this morning? Got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous. I'm excited.
Thank you.
I mean, the project doesn't hit Kickstarter until when is it again?
Mid-November.
Mid-November.
Yeah.
That is a ways off. Because I remember you guys talking about it at PAX. That's when I first heard about it, and that was almost last November.
It was last, yeah. It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the meantime, we've gone through a few more revisions of like the text and game mechanics. We've done a few rounds of play testing. We've gotten sent off to beta readers. And so we're hoping that we're on the last draft of the ritual part of the game. So that's getting pretty polished. And then our process is moving from to layout just because the words have been like kind of shifting and we didn't want to get too far into the layout just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine doing that much work on every page and then suddenly being like, well, we have to take that whole section out. You know, and especially if, so Robbie, are you doing art and layout? Because the layout is basically in the art. So are you doing most of that, or are you all of you guys working, like what is the visuals entirely you?
Definitely like conceptual stuff. And probably I'm sure Tyler will wind up doing some small design elements and stuff too. Like he does some layout stuff and some graphic design stuff, and all like the text kind of stuff, like font choices and stuff like that, is a lot of Tyler. So I'd say like big picture conceptual stuff, layout. In terms of like kind of figuring out what we want to do, where it's going to be, a lot of that is a bit of a back and forth. It's a lot of a conversation. But then yeah, the kind of mocking it up and then getting it laid out is mostly
execution is mostly Robbie, and then I may have some like hands in polish, making like, you know,
for sure
words look correct on the page or whatever. But yeah.
And you said you're starting with a comic. Is that like harkening back to the comic days, or?
Yeah, it's just a thing that we kind of miss doing, and Robbie wants to put more comics into our games in different ways.
Yeah.
And we thought, you know, we have this this game. It's very flavorful in a very specific sort of flavor. And if you just jump into the game text and you've read things like the Gormenghast series by Mervyn Peake, or like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, probably not going to need any more juice than that. But if you haven't, having like a little short, like 4-page comic that is like really letting you understand that these are like spooky in a kind of a ridiculous way. These fairies are kind of outrageous in their ritualistic nobility, then that's gonna like get you on the right page to play the game.
Yeah, it's really good for like tone setting, because like marrying the wryness with like the morbidness of it is very like the comic is basically this fairy butler freaky dude talking angrily at himself. The doorbell rings and then he opens it and it's like a bunch of dead bodies scattered throughout. Like you get your first like big look at the space or whatever, and he's like, oh, what hour is this? And he like brings them in and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is like gloomy and dark but absolutely ridiculous at the same time. And it's like, yeah,
and that arch sort of wry voice carries forward then into like the rest of the text in a way that maybe makes it make more sense to like understand who it is that's saying these things.
Yeah
That's awesome. I've seen a number of books that start with comics, and it's always incredible. It's exactly for the reasons you said. Like a little bit of fiction writing in the beginning is great, but comics are cool, and being able to get the visual tone along with like their narrative tone is really fantastic. So I'm really excited to see that. And I believe there's someone else that's working on the project with you guys as well.
Oh yeah, I mean we got a couple shout outs at least. Richard Ruin is doing the editing, and then Tony Vicenda and Plus One obviously are helping us publish and run the Kickstarter, and just supporting in all possible ways. So thank you to both of those folks, much appreciated.
Yeah, love Richard. I mean, Richard is one of the just nicest, most genuine people I've ever met, especially from Philadelphia. So, you know, it's...
Well,
Oh, so you're saying very low bar.
Well,
Yeah, extremely low
been here
bar.
very long.
Yeah.
If he's here for another year, he'll be as awful as we are.
There you go. All the rest of them. I lived in that area, and that's why I'm so terrible. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But so the Kickstarter's coming up. You guys, I mean, talking about the spread, talking about everything. You've been working on the game for a while now. How is this going to be your first crowdfunding project? But obviously, Tony does this as his job over at Plus One. How ready are you guys for November? Like, how are you feeling about running a Kickstarter and where you are with the project? Like, how's it going?
So we did Kickstart Glimmers for them.
Okay.
But that only makes me more excited to not be the only one running Kickstarter, because there's a lot about doing a Kickstarter that is exciting and fun and a dopamine rush, and then other things that are like, this is really miserable and I wish I had support for it.
Fulfillment, yeah.
Fulfillment, and then like when you've got to be the one apologizing to someone who's angry about something that they probably shouldn't be angry about, I don't know, it's a little rough. But yeah, it'll be nice to have a little bit of support. And I'm like, looking back on the Glimmers Room Kickstarter, I'm like, I am 100% sure we could have done some more things to make that a bigger deal than it was. We were kind of overwhelmed and didn't wanted it at all at that point. But yeah, it's very exciting to have Tony on board, because I know he's done, I don't know, dozens of Kickstarters at this point.
Yeah, we're excited to get everything we need ready for the Kickstarter, and then we're very excited to like not do the Kickstarter. Is like what we're
Literally not
so jazzed about.
Affix labels to packages and then carry them to the mailbox 2 blocks from my house, like 4 times a week for 3 weeks.
So having run our previous Kickstarter, and you do have Tony coming on, do you guys do you have plans to be like, all right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you're gonna do this, you're gonna be damage control? Like, are you more prepared, now, not only just because you have someone who does this, but because of the previous one? Like, are you already like batting down the hatches and stuff?
I want to say no.
To a certain degree, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm focusing way more on getting the thing where it needs to be than I feel like I was at this point with Glimmer's Room, where I was just like, I need to be in pure marketing mode the whole time that I'm getting ready.
Having like a press kit, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that's just a thing you do, huh?
That's a good thing to have.
It is a thing. It's a good one. I assume. I mean, Tony did run like how to make a press kit in like Zemo like a couple years ago, so it's nice to have one. It's a good looking press kit.
Yeah, and also like Richard and Tony have been a huge help about like what should we be spending our time on to get ready for it. So like we've been like going to a bunch of conventions over the last few months. We've been passing out like promo material. We have these like cute little invitations that invite people to imagine themselves as dead adventurers and figure out what's going on and follow the Kickstarter. Getting people to follow the Kickstarter has been one of our big focuses, so that we have a good amount of people who will be notified when it launches and might decide to back our project. And so following the Kickstarter is such a huge help. I go to a lot of like conventions for work. I've also been pitching it a lot there. I don't know how effective that's been, but I try it anyway. And then also, like, I think we've just been so grateful for the amount of support we've gotten from other people in the RPG community. Like, Will Yobst was one of our beta readers. Sean Ireland sat down with us at FlameCon and, like, did a demo with us. And so, like, definitely feeling very supported going into this one.
Those are 2 of the nicest and tallest people in the space, so they're good people to have. Yeah.
As nice as they are tall.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, it comes up over and over again. Almost everybody in the space is for some reason 6 feet fucking tall, and you find that out quick at a convention. I'm not. But I had a question and it completely escaped my brain. Nope, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, it's all gone.
Oh yeah.
Where? So you guys are in Philadelphia. Obviously, Tony's in Philadelphia. But how did you guys even get linked up with +1 and Richard and Tony? That's a question. There it was. I pulled it back in, guys. We're good.
It was literally PAX. We went wandering around PAX. Tyler Cruming was nice enough to talk to us for like 5 minutes when we were nobodies, and was like, "You should go 2 booths that way and go talk to Tony because he lives 30 minutes away from your house." And we did, and yeah.
And Tyler Cruming is so aggressively helpful to everyone. It's like crazy. He's like, here's my Discord. Please like message me anytime you need anything about like any questions you have. I love helping people and all this stuff. And yeah, and he was just he really put us on the path. But I will say, do you have something to say, Kelsey? Sorry.
Yeah, just while we're still talking about Tyler Cruming, he was such a huge help at getting us to do our convention demos better. Like when we did it at Gen Con, I mean, like it was fine, but it was very like long, and so we had like a great conversation with like 6 people, and we were like, what if we tried to get more people to have a great, experience with our game? And we messaged Tyler, and he gave us so much thought and so much good advice, and just love Tyler Cruming. He's wonderful.
Because he's like the master of doing quick table demos, and now we have like we can give a taste of what this game is like in like 5 minutes. Is what we got our demo down to.
Maybe less than that, yeah.
Like 3 minutes, yeah.
And we always say it's 2 at convention, like when people are walking by. We'll say it's 2 no matter what.
Use a bite size.
It's 2 minutes. Just stop for a second.
Yeah,
it's 2 minutes.
Well,
you just got to get them to stop.
Minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
And
I mean, percentage-wise in sales. Oh yeah, I mean, especially if you have foam, throw down a piece of foam and be like, "Hey, stand on this for a second. You got 2 minutes."
Yeah, come sit with us.
10%. 10% is a percentage of people that generally stop if you're like, "Hey, stop for a second and talk." So that's generally your target audience. If you talk to 200 people, you might get 20 people to stop. Don't know why I know that, but that's the thing.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Good to know. Also, Tony shouted out Glimmer's Rim before we knew.
Yeah, he did on the. He had like that weekly like zine month thing he was doing every zine club or zine quest. Yeah,
it was whichever one we did that on. He was like, check out this book.
He definitely got us some backers.
And that was a really good end to talking to him. Be like, hey, you talk about our book, and he's like, oh hi, yeah. So yeah, that, and then Tyler, and then talking to him, and then
we went to Tony's coffee shop, and he gave us a bunch of books, and he was like, "You want to make something?" And we're like, "Yeah, we do."
There you go. And as you said, you're gonna be launching in November. Are you going to PAX this year?
Yeah, so we'll be at PAX. We'll probably be around the +1 table quite a bit. We'll also be wandering around.
I'll say our launch date is variable based on the amount of followers we get on our
Kickstarter. we do need to get those followers in there, but yeah, we are shooting for that like kind of week before PAX.
I think we'll be good by then.
Yeah,
but
we're sitting at 98, so
yeah. So anyone who has parents,
get both of your parents.
Make some fake email accounts.
Yes, we're for Kickstarter. That's that's what we want.
This is what
you really want to get people to sign up for it, so they remember to do it later. But what you really want is the fake people that won't sign up for it anyway.
We definitely want the ones that aren't going to give us money later. That's
I forgot that Richard's probably watching this.
Yeah, it's literally definitely right now watching it.
So like I probably didn't make 20 email accounts to follow our Kickstarter. It's probably
just to follow it.
Yeah, it's probably not what happened.
Probably less than 20. So, and you're trying to launch before. So, are you trying to do some like cross promotion with PAX? Is that kind of the reason you wanted to do in November?
We definitely want to be able to be at PAX and like talking to people about Hinterlight and be like, and you can back it right now. Like you can go and back it. Like that is a thing you can do. We didn't want us to like still be in the like you can only follow it page. But I mean, we will if that needs to happen. But yeah, we're really shooting to have it be a thing you can put money down for by PAX.
We're maybe gonna try to do some funky marketing stuff too.
Yeah.
We're trying to maybe have like a LARP kind of situation at a nearby local theater.
We have a theater place picked out. We've got a spot there, and the head of the Philadelphia area LARP society is helping us. I don't know if that's the name of the thing. Kelsey made a face.
No one knows what it's actually called.
It's Sammy.
But their name is Sammy.
And they're is helping us put together a little immersive experience that for like 15 folks to do. And that should be pretty dope.
We definitely, I mean, depending on how much our hearts are in it, we would love to get as freaky with marketing as we can. But yeah, we'll see what happens. How much we want to dress up like fairy freaks and like trail behind people at PAX and be like, "Oh, you dropped this invitation." Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I know there's a lot of people in Philadelphia, but I wonder, when I lived there, I went to this haunted house where they did Edgar Allan Poe, but every room in the haunted house was based on a different story from Poe, and it was like a walking thing through. I would be curious if it's the same kind of people, because if they're getting freaky with one thing, that sounds like something that might be the same group. Do you know the name of the group, Kelsey?
I think it's just PLS. Philadelphia.
I think so as well.
I added an area.
LARP Society. Yeah, PLS, I think. Yeah, they
not PSLs. It was also the season for that, but not quite the same thing. So you want people to follow the Kickstarter. Where can people follow the Kickstarter at? Because I know Tony has a great URL system for all of his games.
A sweet short URL, and the URL is ttrpg.link/Hinterlight.
Makes it super easy to follow that. So we'll make sure, again, that is where you would expect links to be on a video on YouTube. And for all the rest of your stuff, for Glimmers Run and everything else, where can they also find your art, your games, like all the rest of that stuff?
So we have a website. It's just gossamercoast.com. We also have an itch page. We are Gossamer Coast on itch. We have multiple things in the +1 EXP store. Robbie, do you have anything else on that front to plug? Robbie's Instagram.
Yep.
And Robbie's on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, yeah.
I also have, yeah, I'm Robbie A. Burns. There's no E in Robbie. I just want to say that, get that out there. It's ROBBIABURNS because of my middle initial.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I know I bugged the hell out of you at Gen Con to be here, so it's really nice to actually get to talk to you guys and actually have you on the show. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You made our Gen Con experience very pleasant. It was very nice.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just the same joke 50 times, so I guess if that does it for you, that'll you're welcome. But same, obviously, you guys were fantastic, and that's one reason I really wanted you guys on. And Hinterlight is fantastic. All of you guys' work is fantastic. It's really great. Definitely go grab everything you can from these guys, and I'm very excited for the Kickstarter. Yeah.
You're going to be at PAX Unplugged too, maybe?
I will, yeah. I'm going to be running the World Champ booth again with Adam Vass.
Oh, hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And he'll actually be there this year, which is going to be really cool. It's funny because actually Gen Con was the first time I ever met Adam, even though I ran the booth for World Champ like the previous year. So that was a cool thing. And now we're going to work. Now we're going to do the thing together. So yeah, I will be at PAX. So I will see you guys again in a couple of months. And hopefully the Kickstarter has launched and has funded, and we can like just cheer along with the stretch goals and everything. Yeah. But yeah. So that is going to be us for today. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see all of you later. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.